Hey, hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Navin, and this is my very first YouTube video. And I promise now I will post very advanced level concepts to make our project more quality. So, initially, let's see about how to set up clean architecture to a web API project in Visual Studio. First of all, what is architecture? Why should I have to follow that? And what will be the core benefits of using architecture? In simple words, an architecture is like a blueprint for your project. It defines how different parts of your application work together to make it efficient and easy to maintain. And also, an architecture helps you to organize your codes properly. Several benefits of using architecture will be scalability, make it easier to add new features without breaking existing ones. Maintainability helps to fix bugs and updating the code efficiently. Reusability encourages to using common components across the project to reduce the duplications. In short, a good architecture saves time, reduces complexity, and improves project quality. In clean architecture, the project is divided into different layers, each layer responsible for specific tasks. The first one will be domain layer, which contains entities, also known as models. The second layer will be application layer. It handles use cases like CRUD operations. The third layer will be presentation layer. It handles UI things like razor pages and view models. The final layer will be infrastructure layers. So it holds the database stuffs and external API things. Each layer depend on only inner layers. First, let me create a new folder and I wish to name it as clean architecture setup. And now open Visual Studio. I'm using pre version. You can also use standard version. Let's create a new project and search for blank solution. Here there is blank solution and let's name it clean architecture setup. Yeah, now we have created the blank solution without any things. I typically start by introducing a solution folder which is going to contain all my project. It will use to split your project from test environment. We are going to start from the core of clean architecture, which is domain layer. A domain layer typically just a class library in your solution. We can call it as domain or you can call append your project name and then domain. I'm going to leave the domain project completely empty. Let me delete the default class. In domain layer, you can add your entities for your project. I'm not going to do that now. We are just focused on setting up the structure for clean architecture. Now, the next project we have to introduce is application project. Again, this is going to be a class library. I'm going to call this as application. So this will get more interesting. The very first thing I'm going to do now is to add the project reference for application layer. So we can see that the domain layer's reference has been added to the application layer. So this is where you're going to implement your use cases for your application. You can implement this in any way, but I typically use mediator for my use cases. So now I'm going to add the mediator nugget packages for my application layer. What I also like to use in the application layer is fluent validations. I can use it. I can directly install this or via dependency injection extensions. which is also contains for fluent validation and support for dependency injection. We can able to see the installed nugget packages, which is mediator and fluent validations. So now we can do the further things, and let's see how we can introduce a dependency injection in our project. There is one best way is to create a template class named startup. I'm going to make this as public static class. Let me add one public static method, and I'm going to name it as add application. What we go to put inside this is registration logics for the two libraries we have added previously. The first one is to add the mediator support. We have to provide an action that accepts mediator service configuration. So I'm going to add this argument name as configuration, and let's see what we have available. So here you can see that the list of methods and properties which is available in mediator packages. What I am going to add is register services from assembly. This method requires a assembly instance. So I'm going to use assembly coming from this type. So let's pass that inside that. Of course, I have to add the semicolon. So this will take care of the configuration of mediate R. Second one will be fluent validation configs. And let me add the commands for more clarity. Yeah, let's start now. I'm looking for add validators from assembly. Yeah, here also we have to pass the instance of assembly. So let me declare a variable named assembly and create the instance here. So now we can use this variable to both of them. And of course now I have to return the services. This will take care the application layer. We have successfully set up the application layer completely. Next layer in the clean architecture will be the infrastructure layer. Let me clear the default class. Let me create the startup file for infrastructure layer, and we are going to copy from application layer and adjust it for infrastructure layer. Let me rename the namespace name and method name. And remove the unwanted stuffs. Now I have to install the Nugget packages for iService collection. Some people like to split the infrastructure layer into infrastructure and persistence, where the persistence layer will take care of the everything to the database related stuffs. But now we keep it as single project and just create a folder for persistence to make it simple. Now it's time to add dependencies. When we going to add migrations, we have to define the entities in the application DB context references. So I just add the application. It will implicitly add the references for domain. And the last piece we miss is the actual web API project that we are going to run our application, and add the API project, and I'm going to name it as host. The web API project is actually going to be a startup project for our solution. So let me add the references and set up the startup file. Just add the project reference for infrastructure. It will implicitly include the application and domain layers to use in host. Let's go to the program.cs and let's add the registration for all our layers. Let me remove the commands. Builder.services.add application, which is our method in application layer. And excuse me. Okay, let me introduce my namespace here. Now we got it. And real quick, add the infrastructure method too. Yeah, we get it. So this will take care about configurations of our layers. Let me align the codes. Yeah, now we got the clean architecture setup to implement our project, and it's now completely ready to implement the project. Thank you guys for all your support, and thank you.